Welcome to the first episode of Kids Design. Today we're going to talk about an exciting new project in your neighborhood and how you can get involved. Does anyone recognize this building? This is Crozet Elementary School. Maybe some of you go to school here. Can you spot your classroom? The Crozet Elementary School building was originally designed more than 30 years ago by VMDO architects. Now we get to design the school again and make it bigger and better for even more students to enjoy. Although we are all at home now like you, this is a picture of back when we were all together at our office in downtown Charlottesville. But what do architects do anyways? We're going to learn more about it today by reading a story called IGGY, Architect.
IGGY, Architect by Andrea Beatty, illustrated by David Roberts. Young IGGY is an architect and has been since he was 2. When he built a great tower in only an hour with nothing but diapers and glue. "Good gracious, Ignatius," his mother exclaimed, "that's the coolest thing I've ever seen." But her smile faded fast as a light wind blew past and she realized those diapers weren't clean. "Ignatius, my son, what on earth have you done? That's disgusting and nasty. It stinks." But Iggy was gone. He was out on the lawn, using dirt clods to build a great sphinx. When Iggy was 3, his parents could see his unusual passion would stay. He built churches and chapels from peaches and apples, and temples from modeling clay. At dinner one night, to his father's delight, Iggy got a bright gleam in his eye, and out on the porch built the St. Louis Arch from pancakes and coconut pie. Dear Ig had it made until 2nd grade when his teacher was Miss Lila Greer. On the very first day she had this to say: "We do not talk of buildings in here. Gothic or Romanesque, I couldn't care less about buildings ancient or new." She said in her lecture about architecture that it had no place in grade 2. That might seem severe, but she was sincere, for when she was no more than 7, she'd had a great fight at a dizzying height in a building so tall it scraped heaven. On an architect's tour of the 95th floor, young Lila got lost from the groove. She was found 2 days later in a stuck elevator, eating cheese with a French circus troupe. After that day, it's quite safe to say, she thought all building lovers were nuts. As a teacher, she taught that above all, one ought to avoid them. No ifs, ands, or buts. As you might guess, it would cause Iggy stress to hear such terrible talk. But he didn't hear. He sat in the rear while building a castle of chalk. "You, Iggy Peck, your desk is a wreck. Tear down that castle right now. You will not build in here. Is that perfectly clear? Do you need to see Principal Howe?" "No, ma'am," Iggy said. He lowered his head, and his heart sank down to the floor. With no chance to build, his interest was killed. Now 2nd grade was a bore. After 12 long days that passed in a haze of reading, writing, and arithmetic, Miss Greer took the class to Blue River Pass for a hike and an old-fashioned picnic. They crossed an old trestle to a small island nestled in the heart of a burbling stream, but they no sooner passed than the footbridge collapsed and Miss Lila Greer started to scream. "We're trapped here! Oh my! Alas, kids, goodbye!" Her eyeballs rolled back in her head. She dropped to the ground with a vague groaning sound, luckily fainted, not dead. The class was amazed. They stood there, quite dazed, uncertain of what they should do. But one bright young man was off hatching a plan which started with Miss Lila's shoe. Soon each lad and lass there at Blue River Pass was working together as one. When she came to, Miss Lila Greer knew that something quite brave had been done. She looked in the air and saw hanging there a structure with cables and braces, and on the far side, beaming with pride, were 17 smiling young faces. Boots, tree roots, and strings, fruit roll-ups and things, some of which one should not mention, were stretched ridge to ridge in a glorious bridge, dangling from shoestring suspension. It all became clear to Miss Lyle Greer as she crossed that bridge over the stream. There are worse things to do when you're in grade 2 than to spend your time building a dream. Now every week at Blue River Creek Elementary in 2nd grade, all the school kids can hear, along with Miss Greer, how the world's greatest buildings were made. The weekly guest speaker in t-shirt and sneakers talks of buildings from Rome to Quebec. Of course he's the guy who builds towers from Pi, that brilliant young man Iggy Peck.
Today, you get to be an architect just like Iggy. The first thing architects do when they're going to design a new project is learn as much as they can about the different people who will use the building. Students know school buildings better than anyone else, and we need your help to learn as much as we can about your school. You have a new pen pal. They are an alien and have never heard of school before. Write a letter or draw them a picture to show them what your day is like. Include details about the different activities you do. Do you go to art, gym, music? What is the building like? What does your classroom look like? And what's your favorite part of the day? Together with your family, talk about what you think school will be like in the future. What will students learn? What will buildings be like? Share what you talk about by writing a paragraph, drawing a picture, or building a model with things you find around the house. I always find shoeboxes are a great place to start with model building. We can't wait to see what you made. With a parent, take a picture of your projects and email them to us. Tell us about it. Sign up for an interview with the architects and tell us about what you made. Look out for the next episode of Kids Design coming out in 2 more weeks.